Hello and welcome to another Tinto Talk, that time where we talk about the things that Tinto Talks is talking about, and that being the tonal religions, which is it's a term that I'm completely ignorant of, never heard it before, but essentially, the Aztecs and other religions like what the Aztecs have. Nahuatl and all that. Anyway, the art is certainly interesting. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't have an issue with all of this. Nothing. He's just having a stretch. This is just chiropractic. Actually, that's pretty bad too. It is what it is. Anyway, if you want to continue supporting this channel as I go and endeavor to bring you all the latest information and news from Paradox about this game that we're also hyped about, hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into the Tinto Talk. It is a happy Wednesday. We're talking about the tonal religions, a religious group that covers the Mesoamerican religions. So we have Nahua ritualism, Reformed Nahua ritualism, Tonal, Mayan ritualism, and Chichimeca. Nailed it. The tonal religious group refers to the many belief systems and mythologies, as well as the practices maintained and orally transmitted by the inhabitants of Mesoamerica. So let's start off with Nahua ritualism, religion in the group that has more detailed features. So you can use slaves to work on raw materials. You get 10% extra morale. Very nice. You may build eagle and jaguar warriors. You have unrestricted slavery, so this means you can enslave people of your own religion as well. There is a doom mechanic, so that is probably not making a return. I very much doubt it's going to be the same system, but doom is returning in some form. It also allows you to have religious focuses. Very cool. There are 4.1 million Nahua pups in the world, 72 countries. The religion of the Nahua, which many of the Teotl or gods are organized under the supreme god Ometeotl. Many other gods like Huitzilopochtli. Nailed it. Tlaloc or Quetzalcoatl are commonly adopted as patron of estates or peoples. One of its key practices is that of human sacrifice, performed in honor of the gods and a necessity to keep their favor. So we have a religion panel, of course. We got some conversion rates, your religious tolerance, etc. These guys can have religious aspects. There is the doom mechanic and its percentage, I guess, going up. There are 6 gods, fair enough, and we can have some focuses. So we can adopt Ometeotl, elevate the patron god, establish Chihuahuatl position, expand the Quapiplitin, increase the militarism, institute the flower wars, some legal reforms, and also raise the sacrifice rate. Some actions: you can appease the gods, host ceremony, open a warpath pilgrimage to Chololan, and reform your society. So the core mechanic of the Nahua ritualism is the old EU4 friend Doom. Doom is a special currency used by countries with the Nahua religion. Owning locations, especially urban locations, passively increases Doom. Having a high Doom value decreases loyalty to the Overlord and stability decay, but increases estate satisfaction equilibrium. A number of ways to decrease the Doom, including killing enemy troops in combat and looting locations with high development. When the maximum doom is finally reached, the ruler and their entire dynasty are sacrificed and replaced with the new ruler. Okay, fair enough. At the moment, at the start of the game, you're getting at 0.01 a month. And that is because of the amount of cities that you have. As you can see, Doom accumulates over time, and the bigger the country is, the more Doom it accumulates. It can be mitigated either by performing some mechanics such as killing enemies and looting locations, or by some of the religious actions. But there's only one way of completely escaping from it, which is reforming the religion. This can be achieved by passing enough religious focuses, the former EU4 reforms. So I guess it's making its return in a way. These focuses are a necessary pain. They give a debuff to your country while they're active, but you need to accumulate some of them to be able to reform the religion. So, what we have here, tolerance of the true faith for elevate patron god. Okay. Each Nahua realm usually worships one god over the rest as their patron god. We'll put down our patron god not only at the top of our devotion, but as the main god of our religion. So, of the gods, we have Tialoc, Huitzilopochtli, Quetzalcoatl, Tezcatlipoca, and Xiuhtecuhtli and Coatlicue. Nailed it. You can establish the Quihuacuatl position. Expected cost of court goes up. We'll establish the figure of Quihuacuatl, literally serpent woman, similar to that of a vizier. This will help our rulers manage our realm by making the Quihuacuatl handle the city ruling so that the ruler can deal with the important issues. Instituting flower wars means your nobles are much more strong. As a society depends on sacrifices, we need a way to get more of them. By instituting the flower wars, we can agree on fair combats with our neighbors, and both sides can sacrifice captives to appease our gods. We can raise the sacrifice rate, increasing the clergy power. Our gods sacrifice their blood for us humans, and we have a debt with them. But the amount of blood does not seem to be enough to satiate their thirst. We'll increase the rate and prevalence of our sacrifices so that our gods' blood is replenished more quickly. Then you can also set focus. Is this just showing how... Okay, so when fully researched, it will have the following effects. Makes it more effective, reduces more doom. Okay, minus 0.01 doom. Okay, this is this a advance you can have? No, this is what is still one of the these, is it not? Set focus was a thing that we saw. I actually don't see it anymore. Maybe not. Okay. Can you set focus? No. Anyway. Moving on. So we have some more religious actions. You can appease the gods to lose 10 doom. I assume you are going to sacrifice 100 pops. You can host a ceremony. Celebrate a festivity dedicated to a certain deity each month. The months last 20 days, and each month the celebration differs and you get different effects depending on it. So the Tozos Tontli festival revolves about planting and sowing. And that's 400 slaves I assume you have to kill. Opening a warpath lets you do a flower war CB against a selected neighbor. Conquer culture attacker plus 900%. Subjugate plus 900%. There's no antagonism. So I suppose this is probably going to stop you from taking any land at all. The maintenance of our empire and the world require a constant stream of captives. Only through a state of constant warfare can we ensure that we have access to such a supply. The world cannot afford peace. The last action, Reform Society, allows to reform the religion when enough religious aspects have been enforced, but it has a big con. It will trigger a disaster. Reform Society, which needs to be resolved to become a reformed Nahuatl society. It is time our society undergoes great change as we strive to defend our people against our foes. Abandoning the obsolete beliefs and administration methods of the past will embrace the future through this turbulent period of time. You start the Reform Society disaster, you gain some stability, you remove the Altepetal government reform, and we'll see exactly what this does on Friday because we're getting a Aztecs dev diary, Tinto flavor, I should say. Get the reformed Nahuatl society, gov reform. All our subjects with Atlipetal will be annexed. Okay, fair enough. Convert to the reformed Nahua ritualism religion, or our pops with at least 50% control will convert to reformed. Okay, so this seems like I don't want to click this button until I've got 50% control in every location. For sure. Okay. You need to have either 20 locations or we have greater or equal to 500% subjects. Not a clue. Probably subject strength relation to you. Anyway. You need to activate all of the different reforms as well. So Reform Society. This is the disaster. You need to have more than 20 locations, of course, we just saw that. You need to have less than minus 80% centralism versus decentralism. So going further left on the centralism versus decentralism. Centralization. I don't know why I'm saying centralism. Either way. And you need to have it for at least 10 years as well. The system of Altepetal has served our people with care and prosperity. However, our loose grip on the affairs of subjects in other city-states has led to many dissenting voices against our rule. Should we wish to retain our splendor and consolidate our power, centralization reforms are necessary. So here we have the Reformed Nahuatl Society, which gives you 33% extra crown power and a possible government reform. This is actually really good. Also revoke privilege cost minus 10%. You know, that's kind of nice. An innovative series of decentralization reforms and legislative frameworks make up the basis of the new government. With attention to detail and a strong grip on power, the type of jurisprudent basis will cement the rise of a powerful nation, adherent to Nahua teachings. And then reformed Nahua ritualism religion. You can still use slaves, still get the army morale, the pops converting a bit faster, you still get unrestricted slaves. So nice, not much different. I guess you just have more conversion speed, which is good, of course. So, Maya ritualism, let's see how that differs. Instead of Doom, we have religious influence. We do still have some religious actions. We now have 7 gods. Maya's 7 gods. Nahua, 6 gods. 7's bigger than 6, just saying. You can sacrifice noble blood. Slowly prepare for the next Katun. Prepare for the next Katun. Strongly prepare for the next Katun. And do a pilgrimage. So, different from the Nahua ritualism, Maya ritualism doesn't have any doom, but centers around the concept of the Katun. It's a measure of time of the Mayan people. It corresponds to 19.7 years. The end of one Katun and the start of a new one was marked by many ceremonies and festivities, making the occasion a truly important date for the ruler and his people. If, by the time the current Katun ends, we have invested enough resources to prepare for the celebrations, we will gain Katun celebrated for 10 years. For 10 years. You celebrate for 10 years! Anyway, on the other hand, if we are not ready, we might gain Katun celebration mismanaged for 10 years. We'll be fully ready once our religious influence is at least 90. The mechanic revolves around preparing for the Katun celebrations once every 20 years in the game. The player needs to invest resources using the different actions to raise the country's preparations for the Katun, measured with a religious influence currency. The country can choose between 3 degrees of intensity in their preparations, and that will impact it will impact the effects they get while preparing for it. So, preparing gives maximum attacks -20, you get more religious influence, more prestige, more tolerance, and that's just the regular one, so whatever strongly and slowly are change these numbers up and down. The Katun will happen on the actual dates according to the historical Maya calendar. So the first one to encounter once the game starts will be in September 1342, with the following ones occurring every 19.7 years. So they'll not always be on the same month. That's really cool. I'm glad that they did that. That's nice attention to detail. Paradox. Bravo. Once the Katun finishes, the country will get an event with different outcomes depending on how much preparation they've been able to accomplish, as well as resetting the value of preparation back to 0. After 20 years, a new Katun starts in a long count of our people. It's our duty as the leaders of the county of Chakan Patum to celebrate a new magnificent festival in honor of the gods and to mark the beginning of a new cycle in the life of our culture. We're expected by our people to organize a celebration so grand and opulent that it will be remembered for years to come. It's why we have been carefully preparing for years, and it's time that we make use of all of it. The people will be disappointed, I guess. Bro did not manage to prepare very well. So, Katun Celebration Mismanaged gives you some pretty nasty modifiers, efficiency of cabinet and the army morale, of course, being the big ones. But if you celebrate it, big bonuses. Tax efficiency, army morale, navy morale, monthly prestige, efficiency of cabinet, and tolerance of the true faith. And I guess this is just even more just celebrates so hard right now. And then you get up to 20%. Very nice. Besides the noble preparations, other actions can be contributed to the gain of the religious influence. So, sacrificing noble blood, you can gain 10 religious influence. It costs some money and some stability, though. Our gods need the blood of our people to maintain balance in heaven and earth. It's the duty of our nobles to give them their blood in ritual sacrifice, as their blood is the purest and most valuable of all. I'm sure it is. You also can choose a holy site to pay a visit to if you want to do a pilgrimage. Gaining 10.6 religious influence, just costs money. I feel like this is one that I will probably do more. Money seems a lot easier to get than stability, after all. Religion also has other ways to spend religious influence before the end of the Katun comes, although at the risk of not being fully prepared when it does. So you can host a ceremony costing 10 religious influence, and what happens? On the Uinal, never heard of that, Uinal Zek, the celebration revolves around honey. The gods will receive sacrifices of figurines made out of honey. The apicultors give it away to people with generosity. And you gain Uinal celebration. But they don't say what that is. Anyway, it'll be different depending on the date in which the ceremony is hosted, varying according to the historical Huinal. Very nice. Same as Nahua ritualism, Maya ritualism also has gods. Some are actually the same ones with different names, so we have dynamic naming for gods. For example, Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan are the same god with dynamic naming. Very cool. Tonal in general, though. The mechanics for gods is common to all tonal religions, as well as many of the folk religions. We can now show the religion we have decided to call tonal, namesake of the tonal group, gathering under its umbrella beliefs related to those of the Nahua and Maya, but still distinct. So, we have only 3 gods. Sucks to be you. Religious aspects there, as well as their mechanic. We have Zahui, Quetzalcoatl as well, again, and Huehueteotl. The gods of a country of these religions are always present for the countries, but the countries can choose a religious aspect to worship a specific god of their patron, doubling the effects of the god. Nice. That's very nice. Army maintenance 10% seems like a pretty strong one. So does monthly prosperity, though, to be fair. That's actually pretty nice. And that is all for today on the tonal religions. Again, next video will be on the Aztecs. We got a Tinto flavor on Friday, so definitely come back and check that out if you are interested in playing in this region. But we also have a few comments to go through. So first of all, can you make the gods screen bigger so you can always read their bonuses? It is already on the radar of UI improvements for the religious panels. So basically this, you know, not having to scroll down when you've got more than 3 gods like this. Definitely a good idea. But that's already on their radar, so good to see that. What about the Chichimeca? What tags does it apply to, and does it have any unique mechanics? Here is the spread, so we got 1.9 Chichimeca in these areas. It gives slaves working raw materials, prestige from land battles, and levy size, so not bad. And there are 35 countries following that religion. Very nice. But it does not have any unique mechanics yet. I basically take all things as a they will get to it at some point eventually. Can you build Eagle and Jackie warriors as the reformed religion? The tooltip seems to imply that you don't. Yes, you can. Even after you reform your religion, you will be able to build the special warriors. Very nice indeed. Does Doom only Malice be the sacrifice, ruler, and stability decay? Because I can totally see some people just tanking it to get better rulers and such. Estate satisfaction is also impacted, which is important, but we're open to suggestions for further rebalancing. I feel like stability cost for, like, Doom going off and killing your guys, like, you probably should lose a lot of stability for that. Do the reforms have to be passed in order? No, they do not. What's the cooldown between them? It takes some time to do it. It's dynamic and different for each aspect. When the implementation is completed, you'll just select a different one, so no hard cooldown, just the time each aspect needs to be completed. Can you spoil what is one country in Colombia follows, or what the one country in Colombia follows? It follows Neoma. Lastly, Maya and Nahuatl are heretics, not heathens to each other. Can you see what the Inca and North American SOPs are? So they are heretics, correct, and they will be in the North America and South America map feedback review. Cool. These events, let me just check what these are. Raise sacrifice rate and appease the gods. Imply they involve sacrificing slaves that don't actually say they do in the UI. They only say more clergy power and minus 10 doom. Are slaves being sacrificed? Yes, you're actually sacrificing them, but it's not showing correctly in the tooltip. And yeah, good job, JD Quirm. You found a bug and they're reporting it, and now it's going to be fixed and code. Yes. With the negation, this is difficult to understand, I find. Does this mean that we have to be between minus 100 and minus 80 centralization, or on the contrary, between minus 80 and 100 centralization? So in this case, and this is this one for ending your disaster. In this case, you need to be more to the left than the minus 80 positions, which mean as centralized as possible. The most centralized as possible is minus 100, so that is being reported, so it will be more clear in the future. What's enough resources for to pass the 2 tiers of the Katun celebration? So with 50 or more religious influence, your country will be prepared enough. With 90 or more, it'll be very well prepared. But with 75 or more, it'll be able to rush the remaining preparations by paying gold and getting a very well prepared bonus. Very nice. And then finally, can we talk about the Eagle and Jaguar warriors and how they work? Also, why doesn't the Reformed Nahua faith have them? We just saw that they do. And we will learn about these things on Friday. So if you would like to stick around with me on this channel for that, then hit the subscribe button. I'll be covering the Aztecs, Tinto flavor, and also Friday is my 10th wedding anniversary, so I might have to postpone it until Saturday. It depends. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.